Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be introducing you to JavaScript operators. An operator is a mathematical symbol which produces a result based on two values or variables. You should have already come across some of these operators, for example, the addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. These are all referred to as arithmetic operators. There are different types of operators in JavaScript. We've got the arithmetic operators, we've got the assignment operator, we've got a string operator, sometimes called concatenation. We've got the comparison operator. We've got the logical operator and the type operators. I will be briefly explaining each of these operators in separate videos. Thank you for watching and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be explaining what arithmetic operators are and also showing you basic examples. Arithmetic operators are operators that are used to perform arithmetic actions or functions on numbers or variables. Here's a table of some basic arithmetic operators. So I'll start from the top, where we've got the addition operator, and basically that is used to add numbers or values together. For example, 2 plus 2. We've got the subtraction operator, which is used to subtract numbers or values. Example, 4 subtract 2. Next, we've got the multiplication operator, which is basically used to multiply numbers or values. Example, 7 times 3. In programming and in JavaScript, multiplication is represented by the asterisk symbol. Next, we've got the division, which is used to divide numbers or values. Example, we divide 4 by 8. Next, we've got the modulus, which is represented by the percent sign. A modulus operator is used to return the remainder from a division. So when you divide two numbers, modulus will return only what is left from the division. Next, we've got the increment operator, which is represented by two plus symbols. What that does, it increases the value of a number or a variable. For example, if you've got a variable that has a value of 7 and you want to increase that value to 8, you call the variable name and then you add the plus plus symbol, which is the increment operator, and that will increase the value by 1. The opposite of that is the decrement operator, which is used to decrease the value of a number or a variable by 1. So these are the basic arithmetic operators in JavaScript. You also find that these are identical to most programming languages as well. So I'm going to go over to my console and basically show you some basic examples. Open up Google homepage, and on the Google homepage, to access the console, if you are on a Windows computer, you press Control, Shift and J. If you're on a Mac, you press Command, Shift and J. That will give you access to the console. So I've got my console open, and you should have this underlined next to the word console. So let me just run through the basic arithmetic operator. The first I want to illustrate is a basic addition. You may already know this already, so do apologize if I'm going through this again. So I'm just going to illustrate by adding two numbers together. I'm going to do 2 plus 2 and press enter, and that will give you 4. Next, let me illustrate the subtraction. I'm going to subtract two numbers. I'll subtract 4 from 2. I'll press enter on my keyboard, and that will return a value of 2. Next, I want to multiply two numbers, so I'll do a 7 and an asterisk. Asterisk is what you use to represent multiplication in JavaScript, and I'm going to multiply 7 by 3. I press enter. That returns 21. Next, I'm going to illustrate a division example. I'm going to divide two numbers, so I'll divide 8 by 4, and you represent division with the slash symbol. Press enter, and that will return 2. Next, I want to illustrate the modulus operator. Modulus will only return the value of what is left after a division. So I'll do 5 and the percent to represent modulus. So I expect this to return 1 because 2 can only go into 5 twice, and it should be remainder 1. You can see it's returned 1. Next, I want to illustrate how the increment operator works. First, I'm going to declare a variable called x. I'm going to give it a value of 7. So now if I call that variable x, it will return 7. So if I want to change the value from 7 to 8, I can use the increment operator by just calling the variable by its name and doing plus twice, and that will increase it. If I now call the variable by its name, it should now return a value of 8. Next, I want to illustrate how the decrement operator works. First, I'm going to declare a variable called y. I'm going to give it a value of 5. Next, if I call that variable, it will return the 5. Say for example, I want to decrease it to 4. I'll just call the variable by its name and use the decrement operator, which is 2 dashes, and press enter. Now if I call that variable y, it will now show me a value of 4. So that's basically how the decrement operator works. So these are just very basic examples to illustrate how the JavaScript arithmetic operators work. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be introducing you to JavaScript operator precedence. Operator precedence basically describes the order in which operations are performed in an arithmetic expression. The best way to show you this is by actually illustrating an example. So I've got my console here, so I'm going to create a variable. So I'm going to create a variable called J. You could call your variable anything. I'm going to give it a value of 150 plus 70 and multiply by 4. This is going to be the value for my variable called J. So if I press enter and try call this variable by name, it's going to give me a value of 430. Now if you use a calculator, you get a different result. So if you input 150 plus 70 times 4 on your calculator, it will return a value of 880. The reason we get a different value here inside the console is that in programming and also in JavaScript, there is a precedence of operators. So what that basically means is that in terms of the order in which the operations are performed, multiplication and division have a higher precedence than addition and subtraction. That is why the multiplication is done first. So it will do the 70 times 4 first before it adds the 150. So that is known as a precedence. So the precedence is that where there is multiplication and division involved, it will take higher order than where there is addition or subtraction involved. So it does the multiplication first, then the addition. If there was division, it will do that first, and then the multiplication. There is a precedence in the operator action. However, you can use parentheses to change that order. If you wanted the addition to be done first, all you need to do, come here, do a variable j, and I'm going to set that to equals to, I'll do a parentheses, I'll type in 150 plus 70, and I will close the parentheses. So what that does, it will do the addition first because I've wrapped it round the parentheses, which gives it a higher order. And then I can now do the multiplication. So if I do this, return this variable, it will now give me a value of 880 because I have forced the addition to compute that operation first before the multiplication is done. So I press enter. If I call the variable j now, I should get 880, which is the figure you will get if you had used a standard calculator. But in programming and in JavaScript, there is a precedence in the way the operator actions are performed. So if you want a particular operator to compute its value first, you need to wrap it round parentheses, and that will give it a higher order in the operator precedence. So that's basically how operator precedence works. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be introducing you to the JavaScript string operators. String operators are used to add strings together using the addition operator. When the addition operator is used with strings, it is referred to as concatenation operator. So when you're using string operators, you can use the addition operator, or you can also use the addition and assignment operator, which is the plus equals to, which is the assignment. So you can use both types of operators to achieve a string operator function. So let me quickly illustrate with a couple of basic examples. So I have got my console here, and I am going to create some variables. So to create a variable, you just type in var and give the variable any name. I'm going to give this variable a name of 1, and I'm going to give it a value of show me. That is the value. And I'm going to create another variable, and I'm going to call this variable number 2. I'm going to assign this a value of the money. So that's my value for variable number 2. I'm going to create another variable, variable number 3, and I'm going to make this variable value of variable 1 plus, I'm now using the string operators to concat the value. So I'm adding variable 1, and I'm using blank quotes here. The blank quotes here basically will create a space between the two variables, and I use another concatenation to add the variable number 2. So now variable number 3 will equals to the value of variable number 1 and 2. So now if I call variable number 3, it will give me the value show me the money. So that's one way of using the string operator, using the addition operator. When you use it this way, it's called concatenation. So let me show you a second way where you can use the assignment operator. So I'm going to create a variable called C, and I'm going to give it a value of hello. Okay, that would be the value of that variable. Now I'm going to use the assignment operator to add to the value of that variable, and the way I will do this, I'll just call the variable by name, which is C, and I'll use the assignment operator. So I'm using the addition and the equals to together, and I'm going to add a value. I'll do a space so that to create some space between the text. I'll say world, and you can see now it has now added the word world to hello. So I've now concatenated or added two strings together. So I've used the assignment operator to achieve that, and I've also used the addition operator in this case to achieve that. So that's basically how you use string operators. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.